welcome to the very exciting start to
Mario Week!
We have done themed weeks for big upcoming games. The last one we did was for the launch of Tears of the Kingdom. We did Zelda Week. Now, to count down to the launch of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, we are doing a whole week of Mario stuff.
Exactly, every day this week we'll have a new video, and we are getting started today right now.
Yes.
With our tier list of the 3D Super Mario games.
Now, we have already ranked the 2D Super Mario games before the beginning of Mario Week. Thank goodness, because the vibes in that video were not great. They were not immaculate. But I think we're gonna be okay ranking these 3D ones. We haven't fought yet. Making the list?
It's fewer games, and I think there's just a higher bar of quality overall with these,
Yes.
and there's less of these edge cases of like, does this count, doesn't it? It's like, we're pretty clear on what's in
I
here.
think so. I think so too.
Without further ado, we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, 10 games or so. Let's just begin. We're gonna go chronologically again with where it all began, Super Mario 64.
Now, I know that this was once your favorite
Here we
game
go.
of all time. So I'm giving you an F. I'm just kidding. I will respect you like you respected me during Super Mario World. You look like you want to say something.
Well, yes, maybe let me get a word in on my favorite game ever. So I did play this most recently when it was re-released on Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
Yes, me too.
And I definitely felt the game's age here.
Of course. But think back to your first experience with Super Mario 64 and how much you played that game. You said that this is a game that you played for like over 6 months.
Yes, because no games were coming out on the N64. This is now my most wanted game remake. A Mario 64 game remake with modern visuals and just a few updates on the controls and camera. I'm actually not going to say this is an S. I'm going to say this is an A.
Oh.
Because I think, again, going back to it, it was like, there's definitely some things that, again, this was like the first game in this genre, created this genre.
Okay.
They had to work out some kinks. Those kinks are still there. And the further we get from it, it does get a bit more like, you feel it a little bit more.
Okay.
So I'm going to say this is an A.
I gave it an S.
Okay, well, let's put it at an S.
Because I never played this game on Nintendo 64 when it first came out. So I had a bit of a spotty experience with it. We're going to get into Super Mario 64 DS in a tiny little bit, but I actually played that game first. But overall, I can see why this game was like world-changing, and how it just created this, obviously, this whole new amazing genre for Mario games and for these kinds of 3D platformers. And I saw the magic that people saw when they probably played this game for the first time, and it was probably even more mind-blowing back then because it was like the first of its kind. But I think that magic is still there because I definitely saw it when I finally beat this game. So I have to give it an S.
Great, S. You don't have to twist my arm.
I'm not going to have to convince you much more.
Next, Super Mario 64 DS. We want to talk about the DS version of that, which I gotta say, this is not an S.
Not an S, unfortunately.
I'm going to suggest that this is a C.
Oh.
Again, we talked about the controls of Mario 64 being so critical, and this game was made for the Nintendo 64 controller
it had that little
and that stick.
thumbstick thing.
This version is so hamstrung because of the controls. I mean, it looks great. For the most part, aside from the stick, it plays well. But you either have to use a D-pad, which is not ideal, or even worse,
the little eraser.
That little nubbin that you strap to your finger.
Yeah.
And you try and claw your way. This was like the progenitor of the virtual thumbstick that we have in mobile games now, which is hated by most people.
You don't like that. I have a tiny hand. So I felt like I was okay.
I never found, I kept going back and forth. I was like, surely one of these will work, and they never did.
Okay, I didn't have as much of a hard time. I actually gave it an A because I thought that this game was like a pretty good way for you to play Mario 64 at the time because there's no other option for you to play at the time except for going back to
I suppose I could go to a B. So
let's go to a B.
This does have some additional content.
It does.
And what is going to talk myself into putting this into a B? I'm going to feel okay about this being a B because it had those DS specific touch mini games.
Yeah, those were so fun.
Which were incredible. They should release those on a phone or something.
They really should.
Those are so good.
And I like how you can use the touchscreen to manipulate Mario's nose.
Right. I mean, but those mini games, like
they're so good.
I really did love those. So,
okay,
all right,
I'm okay with it going.
We're gonna settle on a B.
B
for that.
is good.
Okay. Mario Sunshine on the GameCube, highly controversial. The most controversial game on here has a very devoted fan base. I will say.
We are not that.
I will also say that I'm not part of this fan base.
I'm also not part of this fan base. I did not love the flood thing. Like, I just found that to be like a little bit too complicated for me. Like, I just couldn't get the hang of it. And this game is punishingly hard. That flood.
There's a number of criticisms
Yeah.
that work with this game.
Yeah.
I think the flood contraption was too confusing.
Yeah, complex. Too complex.
I think the challenge level was higher than you would want in a Mario game.
So hard.
I think, again, the controls just never felt right.
That's
Again, for me, coming off of my 1000th hour of Mario 64, I was like, there's something
not quite hitting with
different
this.
people made this game, and it's not working for me.
Yeah. What I do love, though, is the vibe, like, of the
short sleeve
island,
Mario,
short sleeve Mario, the Delfino, like that whole thing was really cool.
Right.
And I like how later on in 3D Mario games, like, they brought like the beach vibe to other Mario games. So I do really love that. Like, that was just so different than any other 3D Mario game at the time. So that I really liked.
Stop beating around the bush. What's the score?
I gave it a C.
I agree with that. C.
Okay.
Yes. C.
Sorry, Mario Sunshine. I know there's so many people that are
Again,
like,
I played this in the moment when it came out on the GameCube.
I did too.
Like day one, I picked it up and I was like, this ain't it.
I didn't like it. And then I played it again.
Right. We went back.
I also didn't like it. I really gave it the try, like the old college tries, they say.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Moving on to better things. Super Mario Galaxy, the first, on the Wii. I know you adore this game.
I adore this game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It like brings a tear to my eye when I hear the orchestral score of Super Mario Galaxy. Yeah, I think this game is definitely an S for me. It just hits on so many levels. You know, the gameplay was fun. The whole like anti-gravity thing was really fun. The introduction of Rosalina and the Lumas was amazing. We were talking about the music. Yeah, I think there's so many creative, ingenious things in Super Mario Galaxy that was just like, not to be punny about it, but like out of this world for me.
Tacky. I have an unusual opinion on the Galaxy games, which is I like 2 better than 1.
I like 2 a lot
in
too.
a pretty noticeable way. Like I think
Yoshi?
There's a lot about 2 that they kind of talked about how like, well, we had some ideas left over and we saw if we could cobble those together into a game. It's like, well, I actually like those ideas a lot better.
Okay.
The addition of Yoshi, I think, adds a lot.
Yoshi's amazing in 2.
We have a whole video coming about music. I won't get into that, but I thought I liked the variety of the music in 2 better. Yeah. So for me, we can talk about these both together. Because they're
I give them both S's.
Okay, that's one way to do it. I was definitely going to say 2 is an S, so let's go ahead and put that in.
Yeah, 2 is definitely, I think it like improves upon the, 1.
Yeah.
And I agree with you that, I'm a Yoshi fan,
right.
So I definitely agree that Yoshi adds so much. I love the hot pepper Yoshi. That was an amazing addition to that game. But I think there was something really magical about 1 because it just was like the first time something like this existed.
Okay.
And like another sort of kind of groundbreaking genre kind of thing where you just like, to have that kind of surprise is very rare, I
mean, so. I had Galaxy as an A. It's not like I didn't like this game. I think I could be talked into an S. Just the things that I didn't like as much.
Yeah.
The story of Galaxy felt tedious to me.
Oh.
Where it was very...
You gotta rescue the Lumas?
But it was very drawn out in this kind of like little like, children's storybook style. It's like, I get it. The Lumas.
Oh,
Let's
they're so cute.
Let's go.
And the star bits look like candy.
I don't know. It just wasn't what I come to a Mario game for. Fine, we'll give it an S.
Let's give it an S.
Because I think again, these games are so closely connected in a lot of ways, and they're certainly both very, very, very good.
I would like them to remaster this one too.
The pointer stuff, I could do without it. And I think there's a way especially playing it in the 3D All-Stars where you're trying to like finagle a Pro Controller.
You can do touch screen, but you have to let go of the controller.
No, but if you're playing with a controller, like it was a little like, all right.
I think I played
Could I just turn it off?
I played it like a handheld sometimes, and like I could use the.
Yeah, these games over the years, because of that, don't hold up.
That's true.
As well.
I will give you that.
Because of the waggle.
The waggle and the motion controls and the touch stuff is a little bit hard to carry over.
Right.
Nowadays, maybe they just take it out.
I think you could, honestly.
And then just have it be like when you run towards it, it like sucks towards you.
Yeah. I think for future
if they were
re-releases,
if they're gonna remake
I would
just
vote
take it
for
out.
that. I would vote for
that.
Yeah.
But these are fantastic games, and I miss them.
All right, double S. We've decided for those.
Woohoo!
Next, we have Super Mario 3D Land on the Nintendo 3DS, a game you remembered so well that you had to go back and watch a trailer moments before we filmed this video.
You worked on this game. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I was like, I have no recollection of
what happened.
This game. I don't know. I like was looking at the launch trailer and looking at the levels. I'm like, I don't remember playing.
I do think that this is a game that time has forgotten.
Yeah.
Not just you.
Yeah.
Because 3D World, which we'll talk about later, really overtook the ideas that 3D Land had, which were very limited on the 3DS, and just blew out the scope and the quality and everything to such a wild degree that I think a lot of people are like, well, I don't really need to go back to Land. But in the moment, Land was like a big phenomenon. It was like, oh my gosh, they have shrunk down this incredible 3D Mario experience
into a handheld.
It feels fresh. It feels unlike any Mario game that we've had before. It actually used the 3D effect with a lot of like, well, where is this block now? Where am I jumping? So it had a lot going for it in the time, but I do feel like the shine is a little bit off it now.
I think so too. I think this was totally overtaken by the next, couple of 3D Mario games, and then they became like very much. Well, now there is no difference between handheld and like console. Like the handheld stuff just like kind of fell away.
Yeah.
I think I gave it a B.
Oh, I did too.
Because I can't remember anything about this game apparently. Which leads me to believe that while it was good for the time, it was kind of forgettable and didn't stand up to, the test of time.
Famously, at Nintendo, working at Nintendo, we were not told that there was a whole second half of this game that happens once you beat the first run of levels. So we learned that when the game came out. Great to know when you were the PR manager working on this big game.
That's right. I remember you got like media inquiries about it, and they were like, "So what? Tell us more about this like whole other thing." We're like, what are you talking about?
The what?
Because we had, I don't think at the time we had beaten the game. So, great.
Next, Super Mario 3D World, originally released on the Wii U, and then later on the Nintendo Switch. With Bowser's Fury, we're going to say we're ranking Bowser's Fury
separately
as its own thing, so we are not considering that in this ranking here.
That's right. So this is just the Wii U version of Super Mario 3D World. This is the one with the cats.
Cat Mario, yeah.
Cat Mario.
Saxophones.
There was a lot of saxophones.
Right.
Beautiful.
Multiplayer.
The bell, the cherries, double cherries.
I
gave this game an A. It was solid. I think I really fell back in love with 3D Mario with this game for sure.
When did you fall out of love?
I don't know. I think I forgot about it during the 3D.
Come on.
Maybe I never fell out. Maybe
Come
I was just re-loved. But yeah, I thought this game was awesome, and it introduced so many cool power-ups and fun game mechanics and stuff like that. And we have to give extra props to Tiny Kitten Toad, Tiny Blue Kitten Toad, which was adorable and so cute. So that definitely bumps it up a full grade.
I had this as an A also.
Yeah.
I'm glad we agree. Again, it took all the best ideas of Land and made everything bigger.
Yeah.
The multiplayer was legitimately fun.
So fun.
Shockingly, in the Switch version, the multiplayer is online and it works great.
Yes.
Really great.
So good.
Like Land, a really big game with a lot of extra content, and those levels at the end get really hard.
Yeah, there was they were challenging.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I love the team that works on
Right.
these 3D Mario games, like Koizumi and his team. They're amazing. They meowed a lot during the launch of this game. There's a lot of cat paws that were passed around.
Cat puns everywhere.
Cat puns and cat paws.
Kitty litter everywhere you look. No, not actually. You don't need to go to the restroom. Take this.
This is a sand.
Hand you a tray of sand.
Like a Ziploc bag full of kitty litter. That's the giveaway. That's the game with the gift with purchase.
If only.
Bag of kitty litter.
If only.
Oh
hey, very solid A.
Good.
Next.
Bowser's Fury.
No, I've rearranged this to be chronologically accurate. Super Mario Odyssey came first.
Yeah.
First year title on Nintendo Switch.
Yes,
Again,
launch
we were
title.
both very closely associated with. We have a whole podcast episode on this.
So good.
Please check that out if you haven't.
It's an S.
I initially...
What?
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
I thought things were going to get off the rails again.
Hold on.
Continue.
I initially thought maybe this was more of an A.
No.
But I came...
Wrong.
Just wait a minute, would you? Gosh. But I can't... Don't make me... I said I came around to it being an S. Don't make me go back to an A.
Tell me why.
The playability of it is the closest thing to the fun that I had with Mario 64, where just moving Mario around and jumping around
And
was so fun.
Discovering
Right.
nooks and crannies.
Cappy was a really great addition to this that I hope they do bring back.
I love Cappy.
Because that added a lot, not just the transformations, but also like there was a lot of advanced jumping stuff that you could do with Cappy to get to places where I'm like, I don't know if they expected people to get to these places.
Right.
But it was fun to just try. That was fun in and of itself, and that's how you know they're doing the right thing with the platforming.
That's the thing with these magical Nintendo games, and I think there's a similarity between Odyssey and like the Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, is that it encourages you to try stuff. Obviously in different ways, but I think that's what was really magical about Odyssey, and it was so funny that those two games came out in the same launch year and sort of bookended the launch year for Switch, because you can see this kind of freedom that they give to the player in both these amazing games. And I never had that experience as a child to do that kind of experimentation and have that like what you had with 64. So that's exactly that was like a new experience for me in a Mario game, and it was like amazing because it is like something really incredible where you just feel like you can do anything, you can try anything. And of course there's so many other awesome things about Odyssey that were just so charming and so great. So yeah, definitely an S.
Yeah, big variety of worlds, kingdoms,
Kingdoms.
to explore. Yes. Some of which I
didn't like the wooded kingdom.
Some of them I didn't love as much as others, but again, the fit into a Mario theme was not always as consistent as I wanted, but again, just getting around and doing the thing was fun.
Yeah.
I did get all of the moons.
You did, yeah.
Controversially, I did buy some of them in the end. Sorry. I got called out.
999.
I got called out in a town meeting by Doug Bowser.
But he didn't get any moons.
And that was my response. Like, well, how many do you have? And that was the end of that.
That shut him up real good.
That was the end of that.
Had one of the most just incredible celebratory moments in any Mario game when you did the New Donk City sequence where...
That's in our music video for sure.
Yes, of course.
Right.
But that moment where you're sort of kind of seeing the culmination of, the history of Mario and your own like childhood flash before your eyes. I think all of us teared up a little bit during that moment. So it's just like this incredible... It felt like an incredible celebration of, all the wonderful memories that we have with Mario games. And that was something that was really special about Odyssey.
Okay.
S.
Our last game. Yes, Mario Odyssey is an S. Our last game is Bowser's Fury, which was the other half of the Switch release of Super Mario 3D World. This was kind of like an open world take on a Mario game where you had just all these little areas that you could freely go to and do the thing in whatever order you wanted. I thought this was great. I really enjoyed this.
And it was so much bigger than I expected.
I thought this was maybe them trying some things out that they might apply
to something
into a future
a little bit experimental
Mario game. They do, that we see Nintendo doing that a lot of like, let's test something out in a small way and see if it works before we go and do it in a big way.
Yeah.
I somewhat differ with you then on the scope of it. I think the only thing holding this back from getting a higher score from me is like it was kind of over before you knew it.
Oh really? I thought it was for like a bonus piece of content. It felt like pretty substantial to me.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're gonna rank it alongside these huge, major classic legendary games,
okay,
I had it at a B. Where that was really my only knock was I wanted more.
I had it at an A, but now you're convincing me to go down to a B.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have it on the same level as Mario 3D World.
You're right. You're right. I was very generous because I did love this sort of addition. And I think, I really like some of like the more, almost like darker aspects that they put in, like that scary like Godzilla Bowser. And the
Fury Bowser.
Fury Bowser and the crazy like rain effects.
Yeah.
That was like really cool.
The big like kaiju fights of like Cat Mario versus Bowser. Those were cool.
They really when we were talking to the dev team, they were like, we really wanted this to feel like a Godzilla, like a, like that kind of monster battle almost. And I thought that was a really cool way of looking at the classic, fight as always between Mario and Bowser. So anyhow, very fun. And Bowser Jr. was very cute in this game. Not your favorite character, but
as a helper though.
That as a helper.
That was actually fun, and that actually did have that co-op mode that we played.
That was fun.
On Nintendo Mode. That was actually fun.
That was really fun.
This game had a lot going for it, and I do hope to see some of those ideas in a future Mario game.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Every game ranked. I like this. We have we got an S, we got some S's, we got some A's, we got some B's, we got a C. Sorry, Sunshine. No D's though.
But these are solid experiences.
F's. Yeah.
I think, again, the quality of 3D Mario games are really, really high, but we also have very high expectations for them. Can't wait to see what that team comes up with next. I'm sure it's going to be incredible. But let us know if you agree with our rankings. If you were to rank these games, what would you give them? Put them in the comments below so we can read about it. And we'll be back with more Mario videos for Mario Week. All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.